What's good? It's Day. Um, let's talk about capitalism and how it has made so many people across the world horrible people. How it has ruined humanity in so many ways. Um, look, capitalism teaches you that the most valuable version of yourself is the version of yourself that makes the most money, has your security and survival needs not only met, but has those things met for generations because you have what they call generational wealth, right? Now, look, before we get into this, I am not anti money. I'm not anti people who have money. I'm really not. I'm anti, uh, I'm anti horrible morality. I don't like people who have a broken or super janky moral compass. That's what I'm anti. And a lot of people who have money just so happen to be people who have a very shitty moral compass or don't have one at all, lost it somewhere on their journey. They got lost. Niggas lost it. That's just the way it is. And I'm going to tell you why it's like that. I'm going to tell you why. Like, I'm not going to give you a generic stance here. I don't like to really attack topics from a generic standpoint. I like to look at the deeper aspects of things. I like to look into a deeper perspective. And I found one here a while ago, and it made me redirect my path completely, which is why I am who I am today. I still am very rich. Yeah, when it comes to this money stuff that people are talking about and assets and generational wealth and shit like that, it doesn't it doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't make me feel anything. I'm rich spiritually. I have what I need. I have what my family actually needs. Like, we are so good. We are so taken care of. And it's because I pursue purpose. But it's really this. I have self-actualized. And by definition, to self-actualize means the desire for one to become the greatest version of themselves. That's what it means. It's like seeking higher understanding of who you are and the world around you so that you could be a better person, the greatest version of yourself. Like, literally maxing out on your limits, if there are any limits. I think limits are perceived because there are many people who do great things in life that don't really get promoted like that. And you're just like, how could a human being possibly do that? Like, one example. In the future, I really want to train in this. I don't have the time to do it right now, so I do little things here and there to get me conditioned to it bit by bit. But there's a thing called strongmen, and it was like a real art in the past, and it still is an art today that has carried on. But it was a big thing in the circus back then. Strong men of the past, and strong women as well. And basically, they could lift like crazy things and bend things that they shouldn't be able to bend, like steel bars and metal and all that. Lift crazy amounts of weight, all kind of stuff. There's so many different tricks that strong men of the past have done. They figured out a way to get so strong without even looking strong a lot of times. Like, they look normal. A lot of times they're not like super ripped up and have, veins busting out of them and look like Bane from Batman or some shit. No, they just literally figured out a way to channel a special energy within their body through a different type of training, unconventional training, and got to a point where they could manipulate the physical world in such a way to where they could do something crazy with their bodies. So that's moving beyond perceived limits. So the limitations of being the greatest version of yourself, a great human being, if they're like, I just don't subscribe to a limit is what I'm trying to say. I think that you could just be better and better and better. And first and foremost, that means like actually showing up and being a great person to other people. Real love. Real love. It seems like a lot of people have their own definitions of love, which is kind of fine. But like foundationally, it should just mean like, I want to be treated with the utmost respect. I want to have people empathize with me. I want to be heard. I want to be understood. And I want to belong. I want to be comfortable as a human to express myself the way that I am and not have anybody treating me like they're superior and I'm inferior. So when you take a look at society, a lot of times it's the exact opposite, right? It's the exact opposite. And that's unfortunate. And if you were somebody who's focused on self actualizing, again, becoming the greatest version of yourself, you realize that love is the first thing, it's the foundational element to it all. Well, capitalism doesn't teach you anything about that. Capitalism actually flips Maslow's hierarchy of needs upside down. And at the very top of the pyramid, it places your survival and security needs. Whoever has those, and not only has it, but has those things for generations, generational wealth, generational riches is what they call it, then you're the best human. You're one of the best people because you know some things that other people don't. That's how you acquire those assets. That's how you acquired all that money. And so people look up to those people. Like if you're ever in the world of entrepreneurship trying to figure out how to like make money, you get really sick and tired. If you're a real nigga, you get really sick and tired of how many people in that space that are like wealth gurus and stuff promote this nigga Elon Musk for free in their content. They just talk about how he's like the greatest because he invented what he invented and he has all this money. Nigga's a trillionaire now, supposedly. And they don't even see beyond like the illusion that the system propagates through that character. They're gonna always place a character in front of you for you to aspire to be like when it comes to your assets, your wealth, in quotes, because they need you to keep chasing that. And so these people will keep chasing that because they're just like, wow, it's possible. You could become a trillionaire. At first it was hundreds of billions, now it's trillions. And it's like, bro, you don't even realize you're neglecting something that the system completely like it never told you about it, which is self-actualization. It never promoted a message saying you should become the greatest human being you possibly can by being the most loving person you possibly can. Like, it's so backwards. It's like, no, instead, like, figure out all the strategies you possibly can in order to make more money off of the backs of other people. Get to a point where you could delegate, get to a point where your system that you built is so strategic that you make money in your sleep and you don't got to give a fuck about humanity. You could pretend like you do. Be philanthropic. Do some things. Show people you care. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying there's no rich people that don't care. I know that there are. There are very rich people and assets that care about people. That's the thing. It's just like there's horrible people in the ghetto and really amazing people in the ghetto. It's the same thing when it comes to people who have material wealth. Very shitty people, good people. I think that the good people within those spaces are very few compared to, the total number of people who have a lot, just from my observation and just the way the world is spinning. Because if there were more good, I believe you would see way more good. And I'm not just talking about like what the media propagates. I'm not talking about the messages that we receive through the news and all that. I don't even watch the news. I'm talking about literally when you step outside, if you look around, you don't see people's wealth being distributed to individuals all over the world in many different ways that make our communities better. You see the exact opposite, more so. You know what I mean? So what my focus is for my own life, and what I'm here to tell people on this video, what I'm here to tell people like you, is that if we just literally focused on self-actualizing, again, becoming the greatest versions of ourselves, like seeing beyond perceived limits and saying, how great could I possibly be? Which means, in other words, how loving could I possibly be? How spiritually grounded can I possibly be? How polished, how amazing can my moral compass be? I think the world would be a completely different place if we just focused on that above all. The same way that people focus on getting money and surviving and having security, I think that if we focused on that, the world would be dramatically different in a short amount of time if it was promoted. But since it's not, people like me have to show what that looks like as time goes on and through messages like this, right? Like, see, capitalism itself, the idea of it, the concept, I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't see anything wrong with setting up shop based on something that you sell, whether it's a service or a product or both, and making money from that. I don't see anything wrong with that, even though I believe money is an illusion because it's an IOU from the bank. That's where it started. I'm not going to get into the education of that, but like, it's not real. It's a receipt. And it has been turned into this thing where people praise it. It's just paper. And then it's also digital and it's just ones and O's on a screen, right? Even though it's an illusion, it still can be used in the physical world. We know that. It pays for certain things. It can bless people with an opportunity, right? If I go and give somebody money over here, some American dollars in Albania where I'm at right now, like a lot, like just let's say, and not a lot in our standards, our rent is more than this. But let's say I gave somebody $1,500 over here. That would do them very well for like the month. Like they'll be like, I'm really good right now. Thank you. That bought me a little bit of time and some peace of mind, right? So that's cool that money can do that. That's cool that I could set up shop, get that money from other people being happy to pay me for my product or service and then help somebody else in life. That's cool. So I'm not going to ignore that. That's a real thing. That is. But the reason why capitalism is so warped and why it has ruined people to me, from my perspective, is that it's, like I said, it's the top priority. And people will do whatever they got to do in their mind to generate money so that they could feel better about themselves and so that they could buy things that they want and feel that they need. People will do whatever for it. People will do whatever. I look around at the world all the time and I just see different things. I see stuff in my own life, then I hear about stuff. And this has been the case my whole life. I'm just understanding it now. I look and I'm like, why would they do that? Like, why would you do something that horrible? Like the other night, I was on TikTok and I saw a predator getting exposed, a sexual predator. And he was a father of a daughter, like a 12-year-old, and he was taking videos and pictures of her in her sleep while she was naked and sending them to dudes on Facebook Messenger. And I believe Telegram or some shit. And like, you did that for some money? You did that for some money. You sold your own child online to predators, other predators, for money? That's the opposite of love. It's evil. It's hate. It's disgusting. And it's not that the money made you do it. It's that you were never, again, focused on your moral compass because that's not what's propagated in society. It doesn't look cool to work on yourself to majority of people. To people like me, to people like you, I'm sure, it seems really cool when you hear an individual who really gives a fuck about other people, about themselves and about other people. And when I say about themselves, not in a selfish manner, about themselves because they know that if they're a better version of themselves, they could be a better version of themselves for humanity. That's what looks really cool. When you feel like you could actually really trust somebody because they really have integrity. They stand firm on their morals, and their morals are not janky. I don't know. People just don't have no dignity when it comes to this game of Monopoly. They're just like, I will do whatever. I will be whatever if the right dollar amount is in front of me. But it's all an illusion. It's an illusion. I argue this. The people who focus the most on making money in this life, the people who focus on their material gain, their assets, like really are locked in on that. That's all they think about, whether they're poor and they're focused on it, or whether they actually are rich in the game of Monopoly, have a lot, and are focused on it. Both of those people, whether they're in the ghetto or in paradise, they literally are the poorest people ever. Both ends of the spectrum. They are the brokest people ever. Broke. Again, I'm not anti wealth, in quotes. I'm not anti money in that way. I really don't be hating on niggas who be doing their thing, buying their stuff. I'm not hate. There's no reason for me to hate. I'm looking at you and I say, wow, I low key feel bad. I don't high key feel bad because you chose this and you stupid. You're ignorant. But since you're ignorant and since the system told you this lie and you actually believed it, I feel bad because you're bankrupt. You're spiritually bankrupt. And that's a lot of people that I interact with on a day-to-day. Whether I'm over on the other side of the world or on this side, vice versa. It's just a lot of people that think that material wealth is everything. And they are spiritually bankrupt. Shitty people. I'm like, wow, bro. All that time and all that energy focused on this game. And you haven't even looked in the mirror to address yourself as a human being spiritually so that you could be who other people need. That's a shame. It really is. I don't want anything to do with people who are like that. I don't. They're a threat. They're a threat to my human nature. They're a threat to yours. There's a certain face that they have. Like, I've said it before in another video, but I'll expound just a little bit more. During my years of becoming an entrepreneur, I've spent years developing my skills as an entrepreneur and acquiring the knowledge that I needed in order to set up shop to be able to run a business effectively. Like, I actually have that in my brain. I have that, and I'm really, really good at it. I'm really good at it. I am. I was faced with an ultimatum somewhere along my journey. I just it kind of all clicked because entrepreneurship and the game of Monopoly is very, very confusing, especially when you come from poverty. It's confusing at first. It's another language. And so as I, began learning it and stuff, over time, I quickly grasped onto it and I just started to really, really get it very quickly. And I was like, hey, this jeopardizes my morals in many ways because there's psychological tactics that you have to use to sell to people. Selling itself is not bad at all. It's really not. I'm selling right now. I'm selling a brand to you. I'm selling a message to you. It's all 100% authentic. It's all really me. It's all truthful. But there are different ways to sell. And a lot of people who make a lot of money, I'm letting you know right now, they use a lot of psychological triggers to pull you in to something that makes you feel like you really need it when you really didn't need it. That's one of the main tricks. And when I saw that, I was like, no, I really want to give people something that they need. And when I do it, I don't want them to feel like they need it just because I said that they need it. So I'm not going to say that you need it because what? I believe that you need to self-actualize. I'm not going to tell you need to self-actualize. I'm going to tell you need to chase your purpose and all that other stuff, but there's nothing to sell behind that. I'm just giving you a mirror, or I'm just holding up a mirror to you, and I'm just like, here's your potential. You're extremely great. You're unique. And you should become that because humanity needs you. If you don't, I'm gonna continue on with my life. I'm gonna do me. And then there's no product attached to it right now. And when there is a product attached to it, I explained this in another video, I'm not going to be charging an arm and leg for it. And it's not something that you need outside of this. Like my YouTube channel alone can literally help you self-actualize. Just one video might do it for you. Like, it's not important to me because I see this idea of monopoly and wealth within it as a complete illusion. What do you need all of that money for? Like, what do you need it for? The argument is, I want my kids to be taken care of. Okay, that sounds good on the surface, but if they're dicks because you didn't self-actualize yourself, so therefore you didn't teach them, it really doesn't matter. You're doing more harm. You actually should not be having children. You should not have a legacy. You really shouldn't. Your seed should stop continuing on if you're not going to actually like teach your children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren how to be the greatest versions of themselves spiritually for other people. I wholeheartedly believe that. Like my whole aim when I am raising my child, who is 4 years old right now, is to have her be better. Have her be better. Toddlers, bro, by like default, all of us as kids, we are really prone to being assholes, bro. We really are. I observe that in my child, who's very sweet. She still has like these tendencies to just like be mean out of nowhere. And you're just like, what? But that's how a kid's brain works. But if you allow them to keep being that way, this life will also train them to be that way even more, because that's what the system propagates. So then it, pulls that out of the kid and has them be assholes in society who only care about self and obtaining assets and material that make them feel better on the inside. And they're just on this constant journey of getting high on all kind of neurological chemicals, that stimulate the brain and make them feel better on their journey through this little short life. And it's like, so many people are wasting their time doing this. I'm like, bro, this is what you're living for. You're living to make money. You're living to make money. This is why focusing on becoming a greater person for humanity is a better game. It's a better game because it's much more fulfilling. Like all the feelings that you're chasing behind the money, like you don't understand that it can all be given to you so simply. For example, you want to buy a Rolls Royce, sir or ma'am, right? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with cars. I love a good car. But you want to buy a Rolls Royce. It helps you with business opportunities. It looks good. You feel better about yourself, blah, blah, blah. But that's what it really is you feel better about yourself when you get in. That's why people buy things, because they feel like it. It makes them feel a certain way. It gives them social status, so they feel more a part of community. They feel more of a sense of belonging. They love the admiration, right? But at the end of the day, all these things that people want, that they end up buying, it's just one feeling behind it. It's just one feeling. So if you're chasing after this feeling, but you're not analyzing the feeling, and you're going on this whole money quest and jeopardizing your morals just to get to that point where you obtain that feeling, you took the foolish route. You took the foolish route, because what if I told you that feeling could have been given to you for free? The same rush, the same exact rush, right? So let's use this as an example. Let's say you want to get that car, like I said, the Rolls Royce, right? And it can make you feel different things, but everybody's unique. Let's say it makes you feel liberated. Okay, you finally get it. You had to get almost $1 million basically just to get this Rolls Royce. You had to do all these things, make all these offers, jeopardize your morals along the journey in order just to feel liberated. But me, on the other hand, I could go and take my skateboard. I love to cruise around on a skateboard. I've been doing that since I was a very young teen. Cruise around on my skateboard in a foreign country like the one I'm in right now, and go and meet new people and talk to them and listen to music in my ears and take in the nature and all that stuff, right? Or even me being here on my patio and overlooking this great view right here. There is so much liberation as soon as I step outside. Every time, without fail. Me getting a car, a Rolls Royce, and this is literally the same. The same like chemicals. I feel liberated. Me personally, I feel extremely liberated. So if you, as a self-actualized being, understand what you feel because you are always self-reflecting, you can analyze the different feelings that you enjoy feeling. And you can say, I don't need A, B, and C in order to get that feeling, to scratch that itch. I don't need it. I can just go and do this one thing right here, and it'll make me feel just like that. And I can do that thing all the time. Because the thing about the goddamn Rolls Royce is that once you buy it and you go and flex with that Rolls Royce a couple times, that feeling of liberation is gone, and you need something else to make you feel just as liberated. But actually, you want more. It's a constant chase. This is why these people are not satisfied. And they're just like, you know what? I literally have heard one of uh, the entrepreneurial like teachers that I used to listen to say, I'm content with X amount. But you know what I've been thinking lately? Why not shoot for the blah, blah, blah? And it's like, nigga, you're getting lost in the sauce when you say that. That's what makes me unsubscribe. You're getting lost in the sauce. Like, what are you actually doing? What are you doing? And then the nigga talks about like religion and stuff like that. And that's what really bothers me. He's a Christian. And it bothers me listening to his content when he's propagating that God wants people to be, you know, uh, he wants them to understand their finances and like be the best that they could be with that. And you know, I have like a really good budget and all that. Like I have some wisdom when it comes to my money. But it's not like it doesn't make me who I am. Like the reason why I'm good with budgeting and my wife is because again, I understand who I am and what I actually need rather than what I just desire. Like I understand what is needed and it's really just a simple life. It's just freedom. And freedom can be given to an individual very quickly that is simple, that simplifies their life because art and life are one and the same. Life is art. Life is creation. Whoever created it, I don't know. But when you're an artist and you master your craft and you really understand like mentally what art is, you realize that the best art is the simplest. It's the most complex ideas and perspective packaged into one very simple product or service or display of some kind of work. Like my life is so simple. So again, I don't need much at all. I've mastered the art of actually like living a very free and simple life. So I'm looking at these niggas and I'm just like, bro, you're hiding behind this mask. It's an illusion. You sound like you know a lot. You sound like you have all these spiritual principles because you have material, but you lack the necessary wisdom that's needed in this world, especially right now, to make humanity a greater place. You just do. It's just crazy to me, like the system, the education system, the church, motherfuckers don't teach anything that has to do with spiritual wealth, spiritual health. They don't, but it makes sense. It's by design. It's by design because if you start realizing who you are as a person and like what your obligation is to humanity, the system has no way to host. It can't be parasitic. It won't have anything to latch to. It needs to latch to you and your ignorance. It needs your ignorance in order to latch onto you. It needs you to really believe that money is the most important thing. It really needs you to believe that. Whether you, even if you're spiritual, like a lot of people go to church and they be like, I know money is not the most important thing. It's not, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, yeah, but when it comes down to it, when you do life with a lot of niggas that are religious and stuff like that, and this goes for people, I'm talking about religion right now because one, that's the environment I grew up in since I was a young boy. So I got to analyze those people. And those people are the ones that hold themselves up to like They put themselves on a pedestal because they think that they have figured it out. They really do. I'm not talking about like the general community, even though they deal with the same exact thing. At the beginning and end of the day, you view an individual behind closed doors and they don't give a fuck about people. They don't. Only when it's convenient for them. When it's inconvenient, they don't want nothing to do with caring about other people in the most simple ways. They will not bend over backwards for anybody. They won't lay their life down for somebody. They really won't, even though they believe in like religious figures like Jesus Christ, who was a sacrificial figure in their book. And it's like, that was my whole beef when I was a Christian back then. I was just like, bro, I'm looking around and I'm not seeing any of y'all like actually like propagating the message that's being like preached here from this character. This character is different from everybody in this book, literally saying like, follow the golden rule. That's all the nigga was saying. He wasn't saying nothing else except for follow the golden rule and look how I'm doing it. And you see the characters in that book, even though it's all fictitious, you see the surrounding characters in that book not get it. They don't get it. And they doing stupid stuff, just like humans do stupid stuff right now in these times, while analyzing the character in the book, the main character, the Jesus character. And it's like, bro, there's nothing else that I could possibly take from anybody's religion except for the golden rule, be a good person, because it existed long before Christianity and all that other, all the modern like Abrahamic religions and all that. Like, just being a good person is what it is. So like, I see beyond all these social barriers, all these social constructs that people have. They're like, I'm this, I'm that, or this person is this person is that. So I don't fuck with them. And it's like, I give everybody a real chance, no matter what background they have usually, unless it's like something predatory or something that's just like, that's absolutely insane on a moral level. I give everybody a chance because no matter what you come from and who you are and what you identify with, if you are truly a good person, and I know how to test it. If you are truly a good person, I can do life with you because I'm a good person, really a good person who works on myself. If I see that in you, then we can collaborate and we can actually do something here. We can exchange real value. We can exchange real loving energy, and we can help somebody else too. People are just not focused on that. So motherfuckers from all kind of different backgrounds have it completely backwards. And like, I'm so done with, I'm done and I've been done with allowing that kind of propaganda to seep into my mind and have me go in a direction that I'm not supposed to. Everybody is just literally chasing this dollar bill to survive. And if you gave somebody like if somebody won the lottery, you would see them change. I watched a friend of mine get some money. I watched a friend of mine come into some money, and it wasn't a lot, but it was a good enough amount. The nigga, like overnight, just started blowing that bag, and he could spend it however he wants. That's not my money. I don't care. But the person that came out and revealed themselves was a very selfish person. A very selfish person that is only concerned with themselves. And that money that they got was a favor from the community. Several different people gave money to this person's family because that person went through a crisis. And I'm like, bro, you could have leveraged that in so many ways and used the bare minimum to take care of you and yours. Like, you could have really pursued something different and like pursued a higher version of yourself, but you didn't. So I don't talk to that person. I still got love for the nigga, but I don't talk to that person. I don't really talk to him. If we talk on the phone, if he calls me or whatever, it's all love. But at the end of the day, it's like, my nigga, what's going on, bro? What's going on? You're like them? You're like the rest of these people? I never knew you to have money, so now that I see you having some money, it's like, without us even talking, you're revealing to me who you actually are, and it's a fucking disappointment. It's a disappointment, because I really got love for you. I want to see you doing better. And it's just like, if the message wasn't to get more money and to ball out, in quotes, like, humanity would just be in a better place. Capitalism just be fucking up everything, bro. It really do. It pulls out the worst in humanity. It really does. And I don't think that shit is even natural. I think it's very unnatural. I think the system had to propagate capitalism so much to take people away from their humanity. I think it did. I think it had to do numbers on people. Because it's a real psychological game. Again, there's real trickery behind it. There's real trickery. There's master manipulation behind being a successful entrepreneur in the world of Monopoly. Like for example, too, the classes that I'm gonna be doing, where it's just us, people like you and I, meeting in an online space. I want to do it physically too. I want to start doing them physically in the future if I can. But like where we're meeting in an online space and I'm just showing people how to self-actualize rapidly. Like I listened to so many different gurus that were all in the same network, like real one, like people, like these are praise gurus. These are not just like these aren't just like random people. These are people who actually like make a lot of money from this shit, have this thing on lock. Like when you start buying into their courses and they're teaching you the tricks behind it, they never say you're manipulating people. They don't want you to feel bad about it. They frame it as good. They use religion a lot of times to say this is a good thing, like, you know, and they start quoting the Bible and shit like that. They say all this stuff, and I'm just like, I'm smart enough to see that you're literally telling me to manipulate my audience. You're telling me to not care about the fact that they paid me to come into this online space where we're all meeting, and you're telling me to sit with them for hours in a room so that I could warm them up emotionally so that they can buy by the end my higher offer. The small money that I make from having them pay to be in the room is really irrelevant. It ain't much. And at that moment, I was just like, what the hell? If a nigga pays me $100, $200 to come in this room, I better deliver. What do you mean? That's thousands of dollars right there. I can't, literally, that money, it would not be in my pocket if these people didn't show up and happily pay. So I better deliver. You're telling me that that's not the most relevant thing. It's kind of almost irrelevant, but just make sure you make that money on the back end just in case you don't sell by the end. Because the real product that you got to sell is the high ticket offer. Sell them the thing that costs thousands of dollars. And it's only going to be a few apples that, you know, fall from the tree that you could put in the basket. But if you got 100 people in the room, that means, like, you know, at least 10 people are going to buy. It's just the law of averages. And then look how much money that is if you charge, you know, each person 10K, 20K for that offer. That's 10K times 10, 20K times 10. You just made a killing. Fuck the little money that you made from them coming in. And just give them, like, the generic stuff that you usually say on your content. I'm like, so I never bought a single person's offer in those rooms that I will go in because I'm seeing the same trick over and over. They're just running the same play. They're running the same play. And I'm like, bro, this is capitalism. Because who I am is I want to over deliver. If you gave me $100, $200 to sit in this room, and there is no offer at the end, I'm gonna promote my book, sure, because I wrote this book and I worked hard on this book. If you want to buy the book, you can. I'm just gonna let you know that the book exists. That's marketing. I'm not gonna tell you, hey, take me up on this offer, buy my book, and then you can consult with me. So, you know, you should consult with me because you should consult with me because I didn't give you all the game that is hidden behind this paywall. There's an even deeper level to this. It's called blah, blah, blah. Like, it's horrible. It's horrible trickery. I used to just feel like real disgust. And then the worst thing that I would see is that it would be people that get manipulated very easily in those rooms because of those psychological triggers, because of that manipulation, that master manipulation. I could see through it. So I'm just like, fuck your offer. But all these other people are just like, okay, let me see. Getting put on the spot. They're just like, hey, Jessica, what are you thinking about it? You got any questions? Ask me some questions. I'll answer. I just want to make sure, like, you understand, like, you know, what we're selling and all that. I'm not pressing you. I don't need this, Jessica. This is for you. And Jessica is sitting there in front of all these people on Zoom and it's just like, you know, like, yeah, I feel like I can't afford it, but, you know, I really want this. And then the person is like, listen, you say you can't afford it, but that's like you saying you can't afford to have your life change right now just because of a dollar amount. Is that true, Jessica? And it's like, bro, what's going on? What's going on? I'm telling you, when you get involved behind closed doors to see how a lot of these businesses that are ran have a lot of money, when you see how they do it, it's a lot of trickery. It's a lot of trickery. It's a lot of half-ass trickery. No, in fact, the product is half-ass. The experience is half-ass. The trickery, they spent so many hours on it to pull you in. You get the product, you get the service, and it's mediocre. I've tested it out, bought a couple of products on my own, not because I was sold the product in a way to where I was manipulated into it. Bought some of those products, and I was very underwhelmed. I bought like 2, and I was just like, I learned enough game from niggas online for free on YouTube. I know how to do this. I've sat in enough of these master classes for the low, and I have all that I need here. Basically, I'm on my own, is what you're telling me. I'm on my own. You gave me some nuggets. I'm going to utilize all of that and make my own hybrid system, and I'm going to do this with integrity. I'm good. And I think that that's the new way, because so many people around the world, they don't know the psychological tactics that niggas be using. Some people really do know, but a lot of people don't know, but they know how. They know that they don't like to feel what they feel when they experience these tactics being used on them. They know something is weird. They just can't explain it. We're moving into a time like that because look at how many people are leeching from society in general. We literally have people who are called elites who literally are so parasitic that they're ruining our entire ecosystem, our environment. They're ruining humanity. They're ruining the earth for $1. People see it. People see it when they step outside. So people are being turned off by that. So it's like, for me, I'm not about to be a part of that wave of trickery, bro. I chose, and I chose wisely. I chose to do this with real integrity. I chose to self-actualize, which means I chose to become the greatest version of myself. And I think that that's a infinite journey, and I think that there's limitless potential there. So I'm constantly on that journey, and I will become better and better, and people will continue to trust me more and more and more. And so therefore, money is a byproduct of me self-actualizing. Do you see that? Money was never supposed to be praised. It's at the bottom. It's at the bottom of the pyramid. They say you need the bottom ones in order to acquire the ones that are at the top. I say it in all my videos. I argue the opposite because I've done it in my life. You self-actualize first. So if I self-actualize first and I'm becoming the greatest version of myself, money is just something that happens, which is why I have what I have here. That's exactly why I have what I have here. I have all that I need to do this content, to create my art at an exceptional level, skill-wise and all that. Like, I have everything. I literally have it all because I care. Again, I've simplified my life. These niggas think that they need everything in order to live a great life, and it's just like, you're the emptiest person. That's why you're constantly on this pursuit. You have a big ass hole in the middle of your chest. You don't even realize it. Yet you're propping yourself up because you feel superior having things. That's insane. That's insanity. Yeah. In a nutshell, that's why I think capitalism is absolutely awful. Even though we all got to kind of play the game a little bit, I don't play the way other people play. I kind of invented my own way of doing this. Mixing integrity into the mix as a self-actualized being allows you to play a whole different game than what all these other niggas are playing. It really does. I am literally the richest person that I personally know because I am spiritually the richest person that I know. My wife included, she is me. We just don't care about all this shit. And we have all that we need. I'm in heaven, bro. I'm in heaven. Every day that I wake up, I'm in heaven. You know what? It bleeds off into my daughter's life so much. My 4-year-old, who has very vivid dreams. She has very vivid dreams, right? She wakes up not knowing if that was reality or not. She always asks, like, did that really happen? Or is that gonna happen? All the time. She literally looks at me and my wife every day since we've been in Europe. And she smiles and she says, is this a dream? Because we've given her such a good life through living a holistic life, a simple life, a very spiritually and physically healthy life. Our toddler, do you understand? Our toddler is literally able to feel that energy and perceive it and say, is this a dream, with a big smile on her face? And that's not a conversation that we're having beforehand for her to feel that way. She's just experiencing life, being present, and she looks up and says, is this a dream? That's how that's how heavenly my life is. I literally live, I shit you not, I live in paradise because I created that for my family internally first as a self-actualized being. My wife, as a self-actualized being, collaborated with me, and we created that life. We fostered that for our family dynamic. And that's what we are taking out into the world through online content and through our real life. Everybody knows that we're experiencing a universe of our own because we just radiate that energy. And that's what everybody has the ability to do. That's what you have the ability to do if you don't have it yet. Some of you already do. So yeah, utilize the system in an integrous manner and do what you got to do and manifest your own heaven. It starts with you, starts with your mindset, starts with your heart, starts with your moral compass, starts with your perspective. Yeah, that's it. I love you.